Hi everybody, my name is Lía Jimenez, and today I'm gonna talk a little bit about a conflict that happened not so long ago, in which the Zapatista National Liberation Army fought against oppression, seeking for equality in Mexico. This started at the very beginning of 1994. On January 1st, the Zapatista National Liberation Army made a move against the government of Carlos Salinas. The news said that an armed indigenous uprising was taking place in southern Mexico. This matter was taken to the international media, letting know the whole world about the situation our country was in, regarding the discrimination and marginalization against the original inhabitants of the Mexican Republic, especially in southern states like Chiapas. Some of the main concerns were that 90% of indigenous women earned below the minimum wage, 80% of people didn't have access to sewage or electricity, and only 5.6% of indigenous people over the age of 16 had finished high school. After the population expressed their demands, the government tried to spin the situation around and paint the Zapatista National Liberation Army as the bad guys by criminalizing and repressing the movement. However, thanks to the internet, the situation was well known by the rest of the world, and they showed its support towards the cause, leaving no other option for the government but to give the people what they bravely fought for. Each actor have different interests and motivations. The government did not want it to give in because they will seem weak after the attempts of the Zapatistas made against them. They also had other interests in mind. President Carlos Salinas considered that it was way more important to focus on an economic globalization project in Mexico than on the indigenous people. But most importantly, they believed that the customs and practices of the people from Chiapas contradicted the liberal principles of the Mexican Constitution. They did not want a dual heritage in the country or a law that differentiates certain types of Mexicans. On the other hand, the Zapatista National Liberation Army wanted the government to stop the neglect towards the people of Chiapas, give them the respect they deserve to the indigenous people and their cultures, and most of all, to validate and obey their rights. So, in February 1996, there was a dialogue held between both groups, and after hearing the arguments and demands from both parties, an agreement was made. They called the San Andres La Rainzar Agreement, named after a little town in Chiapas. This document stated that the indigenous people will now be considered as a group in the Constitution and that they had the right to self-determination within an independent constitutional framework, which gave the indigenous people the right to choose their officials, make their own laws, and overall exercise their own legal framework. For these types of agreements to happen, it is crucial to have an intercultural dialogue. All the actors involved need to hear and be heard, as it is most likely that they have different priorities, values, and beliefs. By doing this dialogue, it allows people to open up their minds and their hearts to different cultures, resulting in understanding and giving more respect towards a certain situation, and in the best case, come up with a solution to a problem that favors both actors. This would have been the perfect example of an agreement based in an intercultural dialogue. However, the government did them wrong and did not follow through with what they promised and systematically ignored the San Andres Agreement. The government merely pretended to do what people were asking. For example, in April 2001, they added a constitutional reform taking into account the approval of the indigenous cultures and their rights. But there was no attempt to put these reforms in practice. Promises were made, but afterwards broken. Some indigenous organizations petitioned the National Supreme Court to follow through with the new laws, but they were unsuccessful. I believe that constitutional recognition will help to eliminate the inequalities these people face, but I also believe that education will help as well. We need to educate all the Mexican citizens on different cultures and how we can respect and appreciate them. The main goal for the government should be that their population are happy, as well that they feel heard and respected. This situation should be more relevant to us Mexicans. Everybody has the right to have their own customs and to have them practiced and respected. Allowing more cultures to exist makes a country richer, stronger, and more diverse. While talking to my peers in class, we came to the conclusion that no matter what your culture, ethnicity, or religion is, you are a human. And any Mexican should have the right to raise their voices and be heard. Different cultures should be celebrated, not marginalized. But above all, different cultures should be respected. Thank you.